Yeah. So these are some fascinating times. The Mamdani times, I guess. So many things flying across my mind and across my screen and across my phone and stuff. That one of the things that I'm going is like, just look at it like the Martian, the person from Mars would look at it and say, so the guy who got 42%, who is the establishment candidate in the city of New York, was the establishment candidate, is Andrew Cuomo. I mean, I remember when COVID was going on and he had this television thing. He was on every day. I had cable back then, so I could, there it was, and I'd be on the exercise bike watching the TV, and there's Andrew Cuomo holding forth about what he'd done that day about COVID, and we find out later on, or during and later on, that he was doing some pretty disgusting things about COVID. But after the first 2 days, anybody with any kind of intuition thought this is utter narcissism. This is him getting out in front of the millions of people who are watching and just showing you what a guy he was. And it reminds one, what Mamdani apparently isn't. The one thing that one can tell that he isn't is that this is not an act of vanity. And there's something about politicians everywhere that we forgive in that. We say, oh, well, they're, Bill Clinton, to some extent, grievously Barack Obama. This is tremendous narcissism. They like being, I remember running for president of the high school, whatever it is. What was it called? The high school, the Students Union. That's right. And I was running for president. I was 15. Did I win? I think I might have won at some point. I had no, but it was such, the kinds of things where, the girls would like you. Like that was literally okay to be motivated in that sense. And apparently this chap isn't, which is, I think, one of the, but, just the fact that your establishment candidate, the candidate that you all thought until this kid showed up a year ago when he had 1% visibility, your candidate was this untalented, rather just narcissistic creep. Anyway, so I've been reading some stuff about people saying, oh yeah, but he's just, Mamdani's just like Obama, he's just like Clinton, he's just like all the rest. And it may be true. I may have been taken in completely, but I don't think so. And I don't remember being taken in completely by Clinton or Obama. I voted for them, I think. Yes, I couldn't vote for Clinton, but I did vote for Obama. But not with that kind of, anyway. So this one person, she's writing, I think it's a she. It's an Arabic name, which is a pity, raging on about, how awful American politicians are, and I couldn't agree more. But then she drops a thing at the end. She says, well, the plebs want it like this. And I thought, well, okay, good. Now we know where you're coming from. The day of the plebs is over. Your take begs its own question. Mamdani, first, is evidence of a shift like Sanders was, like Obama was. The shift happened, then they showed up. Despite what the media tells you, if you think it is vice versa, your elitist is just showing under your petticoats. Nobody is awaiting that hero scapegoat anymore, we hope. That's how the old Democratic Party operates. The leader obsession, probably bolstered by the invention and the great retreat of Christianity and civilization, will only ever end in tears, even if it is successful. It ends always in Mao's or Alexander's, and the mass moves not an inch when the dust settles. American democracy is just Hollywood. Voters are fans. The work is never done by the elected elitists. They are actors with new contracts who we get used to, like Tom Cruise, who will be around so long they will eventually be president. To be disappointed in that crew is being hoist with your own petard. It is easy and natural for some of us to be jaded, I guess, but after listening to this litany, this woe-begotten list of betrayals, I'll just show up at the door of the state and say, what do you need me to do, Zoran? The mark of success will be how many billionaires leave town. There is no book of historical rules that requires a billionaire citizen. Even their ceremonial function is useless. Mamdani is a star like the rest too many hoped on. The talent is genuine and meaningless. New York can shift to be a Copenhagen or an Oslo. It can own itself. That will rely, as always, on men and women way below his office and media coverage. It was ever thus. Luxembourg, the richest per capita city in Europe, has free buses, trains, and bicycles. It can be done. And if it's done, people might suspect it's them that did it. Not him, not her. Free buses and no billionaires, first-term goals, all the rest is whining and propaganda. The New York Post, nearly 1 million New Yorkers are preparing to leave if Mamdani wins. This is several days ago. Well, he's won. 50 to 64-year-olds of the nearly million are the most keen to go. I wonder, as I watch the cascades, the fake ISIS documents showing they plotted to install him, videos that people voted 6 times for him, and how much truth is really the fantasy du jour. Liberal podcasters always whining that he is some version of Clint Obama, slick with an IQ, ignoring the truth that they were took in by them while many were not. In other words, my politics are unaffected by your self-esteem issues. That you do heroes is about you. Christianity has many toxicities, but the lad who walked on water is one of the worst. A bunch of liberals standing on the beach waiting for him to sink and making money on their articles while he does. It's just sad. Will making New York be affordable? New York affordable be a miracle? No. Can they survive without the master race of billionaires now threatening to crush Florida or Buenos Aires with their vacuousness? Yes. If the people of New York rediscover their long-lost ability to do stuff, not always succumbing to their myth, to the United States myth of helplessness, Wall Street doesn't feed cities, truckers do. Wall Street doesn't renovate and build affordable housing, builders do. And it's across the board. And it was interesting to watch Glenn Greenwald complaining about his accents, how his accent changed depending on who he's talking to. Well, Glenn, you're not a fucking immigrant, are you? I did that. That is what you do. Your accent flexes depending on whom you're speaking to. It's not some form of sycophancy that you imagine that it is. You should try it sometime because your voice ain't great. The plethora, and it's understandable, I guess, after the very strong stance on Zionism, which is it's only a shame in the sense that, you know, it's not for a Muslim to make that stance. It should be made by the rest of us. I heard this thing, what's this? Candace Owens, that's her name. And she was interviewing Norman Finkelstein. Boy, wait till the podcasters get on. Oh my God, he's betraying us because he's talking to and he calls her Candace. Canned Ace Owens in his inimical manner. But she said this thing that really struck me. She said this thing about how she was talking about Israel, I think, and she said, you know, when they come for the children of Palestinians, they will eventually come for yours. Is that a religious thing? Do you always have that caveat that you will act when they come for yours? You're warning against a tyrant because you're saying, oh, they came for the Jews, they came for the Muslims, they came for whatever, and now they will come for you. In other words, you're scared because they will come for you. Why not be scared because they came for anybody? It's a huge, huge flaw.